Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. It's day 5 of the Because We Can Readathon, a readathon that runs from the 13th until the 19th of September and is hosted by myself, Jenna from Just a Little Bit Random, and Kat from Stars and Embers. This round of the readathon is inspired by Netflix originals, and today's creative challenge is based on Stranger Things, a show that is full of nostalgia. So today's creative challenge is a throwback challenge. To take part in this challenge, all you have to do is pick any creative challenge from the past 3 readathons. So I decided I was going to pick the DIY challenge from our very first round of the readathon because I haven't made anything creative in a while. Creative and crafty. So I decided that I was going to for this round, and I even bought a hot glue gun just for this purpose, and I've had way too much fun with this hot glue gun. So before we get too far into what I did for this challenge, if you're taking part in the creative challenge and you want to enter the giveaway, don't forget to leave a link in the Google Doc linked in the description below. So what did I make for this creative challenge? Tamlin's mask from A Court of Thorns and Roses, because why not? Why not? I clearly am going through a bit of a special interest with ACOTAR at the moment, and I'm barely fending it off. So I'm sorry you guys are having to put up with lots of ACOTAR videos, but also I'm not sorry, so So here's me making a version of the mask that Tamlin wore in A Court of Thorns and Roses, even though I definitely forgot that he even wore a mask, and for some reason the first time I read the book I thought he wasn't wearing a mask at all. But apparently he was. Anyway, please enjoy. I feel like this setup is a little bit less than ideal, but it is better than my living room floor, so here we are. So I need to start making Tamlin's face mask, and I had a bit of a doodle of ideas and realised that they were mostly terrible. I ended up going with this idea, which is sideways to you right now. I'll put it upside down to me. So I'm not sure how much of this you can see, but because I did it in pencil and I did it lightly. So if you can't see it, essentially it is the outline of the face mask size that I've got with the eyes in the middle, and then lots of leaves. So the description of Tamlin's face mask is that it is covered in whorls of leaves, and that's apparently what whorls of leaves look like. So lots of those. It just looks really floral at the moment, but they're going to be green, so we'll go with that. I'm kind of going to do a mixture of painting and like gems glued onto it. I bought myself a hot glue gun, especially for the occasion. I want to make this a little bit 3D because I feel like that'll be really interesting. I drew all of these leaves and then I numbered them because I wanted them to be symmetrical. Obviously they're not symmetrical in this image, but they will be when I do them because I made myself a nice little template. So each of these leaves translates to one on my template, and I'm going to cut these out and then cut them out in cardboard and flip them over so that I end up with 2 that are mirror images of each other for ones that are mirrors. So these 2 will be the same, and these 2 will be the same, these 2 will be the same, you get the picture. So I need to cut these out and then get them onto cardboard and cut the cardboard out. This is a mask that I have taken out as sort of a tester mask, and I've drawn on the little leaves just so that I can loosely place them, and we'll see how that goes because this may end up being a tester one, but we'll just go for it. Like awkward thumbs up, yeah. So I've started out by cutting out my little template, and as you can see here, it turns out it's really awkward when you're trying to use scissors on camera and you become really cat-handed, so that is why you're not going to see very much of me cutting things out. Look, see, they were all done, and now I've cut them out in cardboard, and I wasn't going to subject you to how awfully long it took me to cut out those little pieces. Turns out cardboard and scissors and me are not friends. Anyway, I am trying to piece together the cardboard version of this mask, and now I'm going on to painting. So here I'm painting the mask green, and that is essentially the base colour. I didn't want any of the background to be white, so I needed to make it green, and it did take a little while for the paint to stick because the mask itself was like this weird sort of felt texture, and it was a bit awkward, but it did eventually stick. It just took ages to dry. Now I'm numbering the different whorls of leaves because otherwise I'd forget where they were meant to go. And painting them. Obviously, again, this is another base coat of the same green that the mask has been painted, even though it looks slightly different in this light. Now they've all been painted, I'm doing an outline in a slightly darker green, just because I think it makes it stand out a little bit more. Now I'm painting the back of the Worlds of Leaves, because if you ever end up with the mask facing in a different direction, I don't want it to be like, oh, that's made out of cardboard, so it's getting at least this base green colour. Now I'm adding some splotches of different colours to the mask so that the background has a little bit more of a textured look to it, so that it's not just a flat green. I started off with the darker green that's on the edges of the Worlds of Leaves, and then now I'm going in with the lighter green so that it just gives it a little bit more dimension. This is just me filling in some of the areas that I missed the first time around with the original green colour. Now I'm going in with some gold because I wanted to make this look a little bit more fancy. I thought if I add in some swirls of gold, then it looks a little bit more regal and a little bit more like the gold mask that was originally intended. I decided to do more of a green mask because I think that it works better and just looks nicer with the Worlds of Leaves. So this is final touches of the gold. I'm just filling in any areas that I feel like were too green and adding little bits of gold to that. Now I'm adding little gold touches to the Worlds of Leaves because I feel like they needed to have a little bit more cohesion with the mask behind it. Now that was very gold. Time to get out the hot glue gun, and I am now attaching the gold gems that I have bought and doing a pretty poor job of it because it turns out hot glue guns are hot and I burnt my fingers a number of times. I wanted to make the gold gems symmetrical so that they would look really pretty when they were on there, but I immediately screwed that up, so we'll just pretend that it looks symmetrical enough. Now comes time to add the green gems. I wanted to sort of add an emerald touch to the mask and just give it another little bit of dimension. They're not as noticeable as the gold, but I still really like them. Since I haven't had a hot glue gun since high school, I had forgotten how much sort of sticky spiderwebby type residue that gets left from a hot glue gun, so I spent quite a lot of time picking that off. You may notice me doing that throughout this video, but eventually I gave up and just did it after they were all dry. Now I'm pairing the different Worlds of Leaves because I want to make them symmetrical, and I thought, oh, this will be a good way to do that, just so that I can see how they all work together, and I want to make sure that I have them all the right way around. So this is how I'm hoping that the mask will turn out when I eventually start gluing it onto the mask. Now I've started actually gluing these onto the mask and immediately screwed up the symmetry with those first two pieces. Got really mad about it, had a little tantrum, and then went back to gluing things on and decided that it didn't all need to be symmetrical because I can't do things apparently. So I did my best at gluing these on. I didn't really account for the fact that you were going to get poked in the face by a lot of these whorls of leaves, especially the ones on the nose. But I mean, Tamlin deserves a little bit of pain and suffering because he's a massive douche nozzle. I definitely forgot those two, and now I'm adding them. So that is the final mask. So there we have it. That is my version of Tamlin's mask. I mean, the cosplay look, it's not it. And also, the whirls of leaves may have a little bit looked like weed for a hot second there, but the end result, it turned out alright, I think. I don't know. I really don't know. If you made it this far into the video and you don't have anything else to say, then please leave me a leaf emoji. Not a weed looking leaf emoji, but just an emoji of a leaf would be great. And if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!